Okay, this is an observation of Elise Lynn on the 17th? 18th of the 10th, 2016. Elise, say hello.
Hi, I'm Elise Lynn doing an observation James Ellis on the 18th of October.
Cool. Okay, so first thing we're going to look at is editing and resizing an image, isn't it? So you've got Photoshop in, so how would you normally, what's the best way to import an image into Photoshop?
Well, the way that I usually do it is by finding the image that I want to use in my files and then opening with Photoshop.
Yeah. Yeah, why is that the best way to do it?
Because then it won't compress it, it'll open it up as its, at its highest rate or something like that.
Yeah, it's most, I suppose, honest and
yeah.
honest form. Okay, cool. So cropping the image. If you needed to crop the image, what would you do?
Well, I'd use the cropping tool over here, and then just select the area that I want to use.
Yeah.
And then I can just sort of move that around, and then I hit enter, and it'll crop it to what I need it to be.
Cool. And how about like editing it? Let's just say it's not bright enough, even though that is bright. I'm not even sure that's a photo, but how would you sort of manipulate the brightness, the contrast, the colours if needs be?
So I'd go into the image up there,
yeah.
Adjustments, and then like the brightness, contrast, levels, curves. So if I wanted to, let's just open up over here. If I wanted to increase the contrast, I could just do that, and then lower the brightness or make it brighter, and then hit OK.
Yeah. Okay. How do curves work? Talk me through curves.
So I know them more in Premiere, but in this, so this is the RGB curve. Down here is your shadows, and up here is your highlights, and then your midtones. So if I make a dot there, that's going to raise my midtones. But then if I want to make sure the shadows don't come up, then I've got to just arrange it so that I can pull the shadows down while keeping the midtones up. And then the same for the highlights, I can either pull them down or raise them up and things like that. Yeah,
I mean, most people use curves. Why do you think that is? Because you could probably actually do this all manually with sliders, couldn't you?
Yeah, curves it's a bit easier to manipulate the image using curves and a bit more fluid. I usually actually use a mixture of curves and sliders. It allows me to manipulate the image a lot better.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, next bit is important audio into Premiere, wasn't it? So you can quit
that. So if I wanted to import audio, I would double click in here, or you can, right click and import, and then I'm going to pull this over here because I can't see that. And then I'd find the audio I wanted to use. So that one, for example. And then it would appear over here.
Yeah.
And then you can either open it up there and drag the audio in like that, or you can actually just
pull it from there.
Pull the file in, yeah.
So if there's any technical issues, I mean, we talked about this a little bit before, didn't we? Say something's too quiet or something like that. What are the things that you can do to?
So I mean, obviously you can literally just raise the level of the music, but we usually tend to use an audio effect.
Yeah.
And then we tend to use peak limiter, which is that one. And then, sorry.
No,
and then we increase the pre-gain basically, and then depending on.
Why is it more wise to do something like this than just to pump the volume up on there? Music track's a little bit different, but let's say something recorded at the field, if you just sort of pump the audio up as much as possible.
Oh, because I don't know, you're more likely to hear. Well, I don't actually know.
If you pump the audio up on like speech, say it's really quiet, you'll get lots of hiss from the background.
Oh, right,
won't you?
yeah,
Get
yeah.
lots of feedback, and essentially any background noise, you just sort of.
You're
bring
just
into it.
raising the levels of everything,
Yeah.
not just the speech.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So exporting something like audio, we do. It's pretty easy to export on Photoshop. But if you're exporting that image that you did before for web, because it was quite big, what would you export it as?
I'd export it as a JPEG and probably at its highest quality.
Yeah.
If it was unless where I was exporting it to needed it to be at a lower quality.
Yeah. Okay. How about audio? And how would you export this video? And say you were doing something.
I'm just going to click.
Yeah, delete that. You don't need to actually export it, but
No. So
if you're doing it for web, say for instance this.
I'd go file export media, and then obviously the video would be it'd be like a H.264 1080p, and then the audio would be 48,000 hertz.
Yeah. Why is that good? Why do you know why you use H.264?
I used to, I don't, because we've recently changed.
What did you used to use?
No, this is one we used to use. We've started using just HD 1080p. It's still H.264.
Yeah.
Just doesn't say in the
H.264 is the codec. It's almost the casing that was developed by Apple.
Yeah.
To create something that could produce HD videos for web.
Right.
So it compresses. It's very small. Like I think what's the estimated file size there? 293 megabytes, which is nothing.
Yeah.
And how long's the video?
It's just on Format 30.
Yeah, it's nothing.
Yeah.
You know, if you went up to the top, go to format. Go on MXF OP1A, and then the preset IMX 30 PAL. Right, so that's and then there is more to do, but that would be your normal thing for broadcast, SD broadcast, and that would probably come out about 3 or 4 gigs.
Right. Okay.
That's the difference.
Right.
So, all right, cool.